Okay, hopefully we're actually recording this time. Sorry guys, I recorded this, or I got a good portion into it, and then the camera was off. So let's redo this. Hi there, welcome back. It's Me It Makes Sense. Today I'm going to be talking about Byler Season 5 as a top-up to my other 3 videos that you should check out because they're over a year old, before the announcement date was even released, and I feel like it's very necessary to state my opinions so far because I've been meaning to catch up with you guys after everything that's happened. Okay, so, First up is the Tammy Thompson speech. Robin comparing her love for, Will's love for Mike to her love of Tammy from high school, the Muppet singer. So I've seen a lot of this give a lot of my Byler friends some Bylered out. And I just want to say, I haven't felt Bylered out since I made the 3rd video. 3 videos in. I just can't feel that anymore. So, I mean, there's just too much evidence pointing toward it, which we're going to get into today, or in this video at least. So, basically, Robin loved Tammy throughout 4 years of high school, or however long they were in classes and stuff together. It could be 4 years at the longest, basically. And Will's love for Mike is so much deeper than that. It's from almost the minute that he met him, really. And we see that in Will's flashback of him accepting himself to unlock his powers. Now, I'm sure we've all seen the Byler lawyer video. I was rolling with that theory going into season 5 as well. Cookie. I was rolling into that going into season 5 as well. I also thought that Will would gain his powers through Mike's acceptance of him. But now that I've watched it, it does make more sense for Will's acceptance of himself, with Mike or not, would unlock his powers. Now, I think that the rules... Cookie, get out the camera. Get out the camera. The rules seem to be a little bit different here between Will's powers and Elle's powers. Now, there's a lot of time between now and Christmas to be checking it out. Also, recording this on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving, guys. There's some differences, I feel like. When Will unlocked his powers, he accepted himself. He just felt so free, like Robin described, after learning to accept himself in that way. We see that through his flashbacks with Mike, that motivated him to do any of that, to learn how to do any of that. It kind of broke through and shined through in that moment how strong Will's feelings are for Mike exactly. So now that we have that locked in, if the van scene didn't lock you in enough, like it did with me, the point is that it came from a place of love, right? Will felt that love so strongly for himself and for the people around him that it fed his powers and it gave him the ability to kill all those Demogorgons Vecna style. But with Elle's powers, which I still stand by, she has to think of something that makes you sad, but also angry. It gets her amped up. It motivates her. That's a very key difference in Elle and Will's powers, because at the end of season 4, when she uses her powers after Mike's speech to get Vecna away from Max, I was sort of confused. I think in that moment, Elle might have been a little bit upset because Will had to coax Mike into saying that he loves her in that speech, and even then he only said it when he thought she was about to die, and that was a very intense moment for her. And when she revives Max, it's not defensive. She's thinking about all their happy memories together, how to bring her back. So that's the only time that I've seen her use positivity. And the further proof that Mike's speech didn't work was the, vines tightening around her and all that stuff. So basically, Elle needs negativity for her powers the majority of the time. And the first time we see Will use his powers is while using positivity. It's while he's thinking of love and he's thinking of his love, and he uses that to save Mike. So that kind of threw me off because the first volume is very Byler positive. We only have one Mileven scene. One. It's the big love triangle, the big 3. They've been teasing it out throughout the trailers, and you get only one scene of them. it's a little odd. I was kind of confused. I mean, I was happy because Byler colors and Byler symbolism that I was looking into while I was watching it and rewatching, obviously. But I was confused. Like, at the end of the day, Byler, it's supposed to be a plot twist, I think. Maybe it's supposed to be more obvious toward the later seasons, but I think at some point there's going to be a big worry among Byler shippers that Byler's not going to happen because it got incited by something as small as Robin comparing Mike to Tammy. But to add on that point, you guys might have seen this already, but I also agree with it. Elle is Mike's Tammy.
Hey guys, Editor Mia here, just to elaborate on Elle is Mike's Tammy because I didn't go into much detail in it the first time, but I promise I'll make this quick. So basically the idea is that when she was referring to her Tammy, she was referring to the person that she grew most attached to instantly because she felt like if Tammy accepted her for who she was, then she would just be okay with herself and not be so scared of who she is. But as she says in the speech, it was never about Tammy. It was about herself. And that reflects directly with Mike because assuming he does have internalized homophobia, which that would be the case since Byler's going to be endgame, would imply that because when he saw Elle, the first thing he saw was acceptance. And that's true. Elle immediately accepted him because she didn't have anyone else treat her with kindness and decency. And she basically clung to him the same way that he clung to her because they both were just children. They clung to each other for different reasons. She clung to him because that was the first kind of love that she had ever been exposed to. And he clung to her because her easy acceptance and general naivety about the world around her was a very easy way to connect with her, to bond with her, and just sort of like drill the heteronormativity into his head. So yeah, Elle is Mike's Tammy. And even if you don't go by that and you consider the possibility that Mike is Will's Tammy, Tammy and Steve didn't work out. And it's because Steve didn't have real interest in her. And because he grew as a person by getting together with Nancy. So back to the video.
And I think that brings in the painting lie as well, because when I was addressing like Byler doubt and stuff like that among my friends, I brought up the fact that the painting lie hasn't even been addressed yet. Will painted the painting for Mike, made a veiled confession, and didn't admit that Elle didn't commission the painting by the end of the season. And at the end of season 4, we can see that Elle wasn't talking to Mike, basically. So the love confession and the painting, it didn't really seem to do much. But that's the opposite of what it should have been. Their relationship should have been thriving because Elle got the confession that she wanted, and Mike knows that Elle needs him in some way. So I did think the first volume was going to be very Mileven positive. I thought it was going to be like showing cute little moments of Mike and Elle because you usually set up something before you subvert the trope. Because while I have been seeing some Stancy, Stonathan madness going on, I haven't really seen much in terms of like Byler and Mileven parallels because there's no Mileven.
Hi guys, it's Editor Mia here. Sorry if I sound very sick because the video curse has gotten to me again and I am indeed very sick. But part of the audio cut out on this part, so I'm just gonna redo it. Basically what I was saying is that we haven't seen very much of Mileven this season so far in Volume 1, so there isn't really much to draw on in terms of Mileven and Stancy parallels. But I think that since Robin is encouraging Will to move on, well, maybe not encouraging Will to move on, but kind of sort of observing it the same way. Like she might have interpreted Mike and Will's interaction as the same way she would consider her relationship with Tammy Thompson. But as we all know, Mike isn't Will's Tammy Thompson. Mike is Will's videotape. So because of that, I think Will's going to try and move on this season. Like he'll start pulling away a bit more as one does when you're trying to move on. And Mike is going to sort of like either not like this or get suspicious because because they're season 2 close again, Mike probably just perceives this as their friendship now, and he won't get why Will's suddenly trying to pull away. Now, I personally think they haven't addressed the painting lie yet, but if they have, and it was off screen, this is where we'd be seeing a flashback to them addressing the painting lie and Mileven's mutual breakup. But if that hasn't happened yet, then I think that Mike will try and seek comfort in his relationship with Elle and maybe talk to her about it. And at that point, the painting lie would come up because it's a very strong point in their relationship, and it's also a very big plot point that they haven't addressed yet. And I think that's when Elle would realize that Mike is not for her, because their relationship at this point in time would be based off of a lie, because everything that Will said in the van around that painting was actually his feelings. And that lie gave Mike the motivation he needed to tell Elle that I loved her. But it was Will's love motivating him to say that. And everything in Mike's speech would now apply to Will. So that would just kind of show her that Mike wasn't for her. Also, the fact that Elle is really in love with the idea of a relationship. And even if her and Mike, even if she hadn't been over Mike at the end of season 4 like we saw her, it still hasn't been going very well. They seem to be on friendly terms now, but I really don't know if they're dating or not. Well, so that's what I'm assuming we'll see more of in volume 2. And Mike's need to be needed isn't really being met in the Mileven relationship that I'm seeing right now. Like, a big part of it was that he chooses her, he loves her with or without her powers, she needs him, and he needs her back, basically. But it doesn't seem like she needs him very much. We haven't even seen them together. I've seen one interaction between them, like I said earlier. So it doesn't really seem like, even if they are still together, it doesn't seem like what they agreed on in Mike's speech and what Mike interpreted in the van scene as Elle's feelings is really what's being shown on screen right now.
I think in that moment it would click for her that they aren't supposed to be together. And that might be that clip that we see in the trailer of her saying that you can't write the ending this time. Because Mike is trying to progress on a relationship and on words that he thought were Elle's. Now, I forget the name of the trope that this is based off of, but it also happened in It. Bev, she got a letter from one of the kids. Sorry, I forget his name. Maybe Billy. She forgot his name. No, I forgot his name. The Duffers, if you don't know, they take a lot of inspiration from that movie, if you can't tell, with Vecna and the floating kids and all that stuff. Apparently, it's a very big inspiration, which gives people like Reddy fears, fears that they'll pull a Reddy or kill one of Mike or Will instead of making Byler canon to completion, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. So, yeah, I think Elle would realize in that moment that Mike said those words because of a lie. No matter what way you look at it, though, when he said, "I love you," it was based on a lie. And addressing that would have to mean addressing some very big things in their relationship. And I think that's when you'd have to realize that they're not fundamentally compatible. Now, while that is happening, I think since Will he appears to be a little bit more powerful than Elle, if I'm honest. Because Elle, sure, she can like twist her hand and then crack a neck, but Will took full control of 5 Demogorgons at once and Vecna'd them all there. Like, instantly. I've never seen Elle do anything like that. And keep in mind, it looked like he did it effortlessly with just the power of love. So the power of love empowers could be stronger than the power of hate and the power of anger and sadness like Elle's using. And that's what she seems to be in these beginning episodes. She's angry. She's determined. She's like, it didn't really seem like Mike's a priority, which is why I really do think that they're going to try and lace in that Byler out in part 2. So I think that since Will's more powerful than Elle, and Will has a sort of connection to Vecna, Vecna might be able to catch on to Will's powers at some point, or maybe even directly see them. But either way, this is going to either allow him, like, full control like Will having access to his powers might open a way for Vecna to get full control of Will's body like he did in season 2. Or it might just entice Vecna to steal Will again like he did in season 1 to prevent him from progressing so like seamlessly like they've been doing or starting to do at the end of volume 1. So I think while that is happening, Will need motivation. Love is one thing, but unrequited love is another, because he can use that love for himself and the love for the people around him to get him out of situations like this. But I can't predict what big fight moment there is. I just sort of have a feeling, I guess, that when Will does have that big moment where he needs to use a lot of his powers, Mike's love is what's going to get him through that. Mike's confession is what's going to get him through that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that my expectations have evolved. I expected Mike's love to be the route that unlocks Will's powers at first, but then again, that would be really early in the series, I guess. So now that that's already passed, I'm expecting Mike's love to be the thing that allows Will to give the final push, the final swing, the thing that defeats Vecna, with Elle or not. And that's why I think it's important that they're going to address the painting line, because there's only 3 volumes, right? And this is the first one. The second one's gonna have the majority of the episodes, and the final one is just 1 episode, I'm pretty sure. So, and it's 2 hours. So they have a lot of time to adjust all of this, but those are my predictions, I guess. Painting line being used as like a Chekhov's gun sort of thing, and Will becoming more into his powers before Mike has to help him give that final push. Mainly because now that Will has his powers, everything Will said to Mike in the van about Elle was actually about him. And everything that Mike said to Elle in his I love you speech was actually about Will, because he was going off of Will's words, and he kept calling her Superman, superhero, I believe you could move mountains, and I fell in love with you from the moment I saw you. All of that applies to Will. The only thing we're missing is Mike's big flashback or Mike's big moment. Now, I don't have any ideas on what that big moment is going to be, but I do have hope that it will be at the end of volume 2, but not too obvious, I think. Because like I said, I think that's when they're going to lace in the Byler out. So, or, put Mileven on top for a little bit, because more moments with Mike and Elle will show how their relationship been. It's been a year, actually, and not a Byler year, an actual year, since season 4. So we haven't seen if Elle and Mike had a conversation about all of that. If Elle ever said, I love you back to Mike. Did they go out? Was there some reluctance with Elle spending more time to train and less time around Mike? How did they handle this? Have they not talked this entire time? Are they Lucas called them lovebirds, which leads me to believe that they're still dating right now. But I haven't seen many interactions between them, which makes me a little bit curious as to the mechanics of this entire thing. But yeah, that is what I think is going to happen. Mike realizes that Elle is his Tammy, and I'm looking forward to more Robin and Mike moments, because Robin seems to be the catalyst of, everything that's going on. I mean, before season 5, everybody was joking about Byler getting married, or Erica, or Robin, and I'm glad we're going the Robin route. I mean, Rockin' Robin has a gigantic role this season doing Byler's work for us. If there's any other theories or anything that you think I missed, please let me know in the comment section. Filming this on Thanksgiving too, so happy Thanksgiving. You probably aren't watching this on Thanksgiving because I'm filming it on Thanksgiving, but yes, happy late Thanksgiving, guys. And thank you for watching the video. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.
By the way, by the time you guys are watching this, I am probably in theaters seeing BFDI 23 or BFDI A23, whichever one. I have gotten into that series while I've been on my YouTube break and getting my stuff together to get back on my channel. So if you guys want to hear anything about that, or if you have anything that you'd like me to analyze, just let me know in the comment section and I'd be happy to talk about it. I've also gotten into The Object Show and Inanimate Insanity. So yeah, I'll see you guys next video, and who knows, it could be about object shows. Anyway, bye guys. So, hey guys, welcome back to Mia Makes Sense.
Mom, are you still talking to the lights? Jonathan, I know he's in there, okay? I just